Can anybody hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me, Roberta?
Yes, ma'am.
Gosh, it's all gone now.
I
There
can
we
hear
go.
her.
You're not hearing anything. Turn up volume. Oh, yeah, sometimes that happens. See, I don't know how I get
Pump up.
muted. There we go. There we go.
Yeah. No, no.
Here she is. All right, I'm
Pop.
going back on mute for a minute.
Okay, so we just started the YouTube, so people tuning in to watch that. And
Awesome.
okay, so we're with Lee, and Lee says she's having trouble with the central sulcus.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
Whoa.
have you show
Hold on.
me. Hello?
Okay, hang on. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm underfoot. Let me just pick it out.
I think we lost a couple people. Oh no, we didn't. I'm looking at the YouTube channel. Oh God. Let's see.
Okay.
There we go. Got it.
Okay, this is bad. Okay. So I'm just gonna share this real quickly because this is my 18 hand horse who's been gosh, hold on. I can't. Uh, um
He's got some
um,
big old feet, don't he?
oh my God. Well, he should have a size 6,
Yeah, that's well
but
for me, I've
he,
always had small quarter horses. I don't even think I've ever stood next to anything that was 18 hands.
I could literally go underneath him
Look at that.
and go
Good
to the
big
other
boy.
side.
What a good big boy.
He's
Yeah.
huge, but that's the problem. Is that he's so big.
Okay,
And
well, did now have you taken any pictures and posted them?
who, me?
Yeah.
I have taken pictures and I need to post them of I know I've sent a lot to Holly. She's kind of I got to you through her.
Okay.
Um, and that said, I would just share. I hadn't intended to be on here, so I just brought him in for food. But um, he is, or we are, so much further along than he's ever been.
Oh, that's
But I
great.
cannot. Well, yeah, because he's had every farrier in from equine podiatrists at Riddle to um top podiatrists here, there,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Wow.
He's one of those.
Riddle. I've
Like
been by there.
Haggard, he's had the farrier. He's probably had more than 40 farriers in his life, and none of them have been able to help. Trimmers, no, just a
Hmm.
nightmare of a case.
That's terrible.
Um,
Poor guy.
yeah, it's terrible, but
But he's doing better now since you started doing packed and letting him
yeah,
grow some heel, understanding more about the heel. Just that helps, you know?
it does, but I cannot get, you know, I can't differentiate for him the periopal skin in the back
Uh-huh.
where he needs I need to get those, the bars, the whole thing. I want it to rush along and you just can't, right?
Yeah,
It's
I know.
just like I know where I want it to be,
Hmm.
and it's just taking time. I mean, I'm following the mapping. It was amazing to me that in like less than 2 weeks, he's grown a half an inch of toe and
Wow, yeah.
bar, and right, and the bars grow as they went from 3.5 to 4. he's so large that I feel like he has, at one point he had 2 millimeters of sole depth
Mm-hmm.
in his leg
Wow.
that I don't want to. Yeah, they put casts on his feet. They cast his feet. They said they didn't think he was going to survive. Um, he just he's been a real champ about
Yeah.
putting up with this
Aw.
whole process. But if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have hope. And I'm
Well,
finally at my last bit of hope here.
I think it'd be all right. It does just take time, you know. That I mean, they
Yes.
when they've been trimmed, I mean, I'm still working on my horse because because it's been a gradual thing to come to an understanding of what is the real foot, you know,
Right.
because and mainly the best the real foot has to do with the back of that foot,
And
you
that's what
know.
I can't unbind. I mean, it is so underrun and packed up in there. And I'm trying to grab it. I'm trying to slice it. I'm trying to, you pull that, that just the thing that I feel like that's really going to help release. I can't get to it. Right? It's so tightly packed up in there.
Uh-huh. Well, and maybe it's not time to do that yet. See?
That was the question. So does the foot have its own, like we have to stand up, we have to get the toe back? I feel like that's critical because he only grows toe,
Mm-hmm.
and then the heel has to be there in order to support, because if you let everything go and you don't have something holding it together,
Mm-hmm.
at least the foot is trying to protect itself. Is that not right?
Yeah. Well, and see, and people say this all the time that the heels aren't growing, but actually the heels are growing. It's just that the growth is not for the first time, the growth is not coming down and out the bottom and being continually trimmed off. And
Right.
so the growth is being added into the capsule at the top. And so you don't see that growth coming out at the bottom. And so
Okay.
those cartilages are bound in and down.
Yep.
And as that wall grows and it stays at the top, those cartilages are able to rise, and
Yep.
and the growth stays in the capsule at the top. And this is what takes a long time sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, like one of my worst feet on my horse, it's taken me several years. He had this really weird foot. I'll have to show pictures of it, where uh, just on the medial inside was the right hind medial inside, and he had I don't know how I trimmed that foot out like that, but his whole bulb was sticking out, and then it had like this little, and this was just on one side, little half a capsule there. And so
Hmm.
it took a really long time to grow that wall in there. I'll have to
Yeah.
show a picture of it here in a little while. So,
Okay.
just letting them grow that foot. I wouldn't be overly concerned or upset. And I mean, you don't want them to get too long,
Yeah.
okay? But the thing about it is, and I don't know if this is right, but I'm learning stuff all the time about how these feet work.
I
Okay.
love that. I love that about you is that you're, you're able to see things, um, like that, heel binding where we all said, oh, we think she's got heel. And then you went back and you're like, actually, no.
Oh, that was
I
something. Yeah. And
you know,
and
I
I
take that.
yeah, I had really gone over that foot and seen all these improvements. And then I
Yep.
looked at the other foot, and I went, wait a minute. something is wrong here. And so it just goes to show us how how deceptive these feet are.
Yep.
And it's not because, oh, the foot is deceiving you, some stupid thing like that. Oh, the foot is smart, it does this, it does that. No, it's a matter of structural mechanics and the materials that it's made out of. And
Yep.
it is made for the horse to survive as much as possible if he is wearing his feet out. Like if there's a drought and
Yep.
that horse has to travel a long ways, and just the way that foot he'll wear his heels out, then his whole foot will bind up and that periopal will just like seal that whole thing to hold it together, you know?
Yep.
So
It's
it's,
amazing.
yeah, it's just survival, and the structure of the thing is really amazing. Um, but yeah, it's just going to take time because, like, how long have you been working with him now in this?
Well, okay, so I was at the point last year both my horses were going and getting more in training. We were getting somewhere, and
Mm-hmm.
then I would watch them go, and I was like, they're not moving the way they should, because I could tell that we were starting to jump again, and they'd gone through some lamenesses really because of the shoeing. And I said, we got to go back. I decided to pull the shoes and start to explore the barefoot thing. So I had a
Uh-huh.
barefoot trimmer who does a typical, she's following Pete Ramey and the other girl, Landerville.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they take off a bunch of heel.
Yeah.
And so that set me back. Here
Yeah.
I am barefoot, and then barefoot with no heel, and we're back at square one. So that was last summer I started, and I found Holly, and she started explaining and telling me to go to your page, go to your page, which I did. And but I still kept the barefoot trimmer and just said, don't take any heel, stay
Okay.
away from heel. And she did, but I would see her take heel. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can help themselves,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like they don't understand what that means. I have a horse with one horse with really good cartilages and really strong feet. He's old stock Trakehner from Russia. And man, this horse is 34 years old with the best feet of my all three. But she even took heel off of him. And it's like, how do you take that horse and get his feet to be kind of just unbalanced,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so I watch their movement, and my little thoroughbred, he lands toe heel. Well, there's something wrong with that, because
Mm-hmm.
you know that indicates he's not balanced, and it's I just we thought I grew up in New England 30 years ago. These farriers knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So then I moved to the Midwest, Tennessee, and I could not find anyone who understood. And I found one farrier who I started having him use the gosh, what's the name of the shoe? Um Natural balance
Natural
shoe.
balance. Oh, was he a
Yeah,
natural
because
balance farrier?
he wasn't, but I was like, put these on, because you can't
Yeah.
see where to put that point of rotation for the, but they're a little square in the toe,
Yeah. Yeah.
but at least it set, it set the shoe back. But I think one of the things that I noticed, I had a picture of a horse that the same 34-year-old, when he first came from Russia. My farriers, even though he had a good heel, they
Mm-hmm.
put that shoe, and they put the heel. They had like half an inch behind where the heel was, where that shoe was, because
Hmm.
I think now the farriers shoe to the foot,
Yeah.
meaning they put
So
that shoe on if the heel's far forward, they put that shoe under the heel as far
yeah,
forward.
yeah. I know what you mean. They don't give it a full fit. Like,
No.
yeah,
Mm-mm. And I felt that too. They're all competing. They want it to look a certain way. They have to do everything fast because they're competing against the clock when they go out and get their buckles. Um, and they're not taught to shoe so that hoof can naturally expand when it
yeah,
lands. Does that make sense?
yeah. Well, and that's why they need to fit those shoes where there's more shoe coming out behind.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was taught that the heel grows to where that support is
Hmm.
as well. That if it's not there, it it doesn't have that ability to kind of drop down where you want it to be because
Yeah.
there's nothing there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, all the shoers I ever knew, like when we were working on ranches and stuff, well, not all of them. Okay. But I know
Mhm.
exactly what you mean. How
Yep.
when and I forget what is it called full fitting or they have a name for
Yeah.
it, you know, to where there's, at least half an inch
Yep.
of the
Exactly.
horseshoe sticking out behind the heels.
Yes. And that is no longer what they're doing because these farriers, they don't want to have to come back in case the horse pulls a shoe. They think that if they leave that the horse will pull a shoe. Well, guess what? If they leave it and they put the point of, the actual they are able to get that breakover in the right place, that
Uh-huh.
foot is out of the way faster and that heel goes up and out of the way. So they're not going to pull a shoe.
Yeah.
But if you leave that toe long, they cannot get that foot out of the way. So
Hmm.
they come up under,
Yeah. Yeah. The
because they're,
breakover's too far forward. And
yeah,
then their heels, if you set those shoes back, that gives them even though their heels might be more forward, that still gives them more support
exactly.
back there.
Exactly. Yep. So now I'm trying to I'm trying to believe that I actually do have to trim this horse. Every couple of weeks I have to go in and and I'm able to take a scale off a little bit of bar or a little bit of
Yeah.
soles ready to go. And I want to do it all at once and just
Yeah, I
say,
know.
here you go. It's not the way it happened.
Um, now tell me again, how long have you been working on him?
Um, Me personally,
Yeah.
like I basically started. I was working with the trimmer for we were working on him. We tried Versa shoes, and that I had to have those pulled off because that was too much pressure. So I really have started only like 4 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he basically you're just keeping him kind of trimmed up and letting his feet grow
Well,
or
trying
rest a
to.
little bit.
Well, he was lame for a while,
Okay.
so that we had to resolve that, and he got lame back in February, and we had gone um barefoot, and we actually had him at a horse show, and he took a few lame steps, and we just said, okay, we got to go back, and so it in in that process. So that's February. So he had to
Hmm.
recover from that. So it's only been um oh, I know, we had a glue on so that's right. We had a
Oh,
glue on
okay.
farrier come, and he put glue that literally made this horse so lame that I asked the farrier to please come back and take the shoes off. He would not come back, Linda. He
Oh,
said,
gee.
I can't work for you. Um, and so he wouldn't come back. So, and we pulled those glue on shoes off. He put glue and two nails. Well, those things were not coming off. So I had the barefoot trimmer come back. She took them off, and I don't know if I sent you pictures of them. I'll show them to you. They were like shards jamming up into his sole. The
Gee.
glue that he used was like um it was so harshly put in there
Hmm.
that it was jabbing into his feet. So he that was back in March.
Okay.
He had to recover from that.
Yeah. Great.
So
Well, I'll go to
we're
Facebook and see if you sent me some pictures. Let's see.
Hi,
We're
Linda.
Hi there, Anonymous.
I don't know, I can't see anybody.
Uh,
I
let's see.
see.
I can just hear people. Just a minute. Okay. I got it's taking me forever to get in here. That. I don't think you've ever sent me any pictures.
Okay, I'm gonna have to send you a few.
Yeah. Yeah, here I'll send a hi towards you. There we go. I sent you a message.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Let's see if I can find most recents.
Okay. Let's see. Guess I'll share something. So I got something on the screen here.
Okay.
Uh,
How about that?
oops.
That was with a shoe. So I just sent you one with a shoe, a horrible
Okay.
shoe. And
Okay.
that was probably 2018. That's just to send you an example. Um,
Okay. Oh yeah, I mean his his cartilages are really pulled down under his foot.
yep.
Yep.
And
He,
that was, and look how small the shoes are. I mean, they're like a size 2 on a
yeah.
size 6 foot.
Yeah,
Uh,
he should have a very big foot,
you
you know?
should. I just,
Just a minute here. Oh, oh.
what is this? Oh, okay. So let's see. That's Berlin.
So I've been noticing this deal how for everything it's not in all horses. I mean, if they're constantly taking that toe back, they're going to bend the front of that foot back too. But in a lot of these horses, what I see is for every bit that they take away of the bulbs and the cartilage, they
Yeah.
add it to the toe,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
Um, uh, so, what's that got to do to their legs and everything? Because they're taking away the the best part of the foot. The
Yeah.
best part of the foot is not the coffin bone. Um, the best
I
part of the foot is the caudal
and
area.
that is that. So why do they understand it in the hind, the hind feet seem to have better cartilages, or they allow that foot to be upright. They seem to think
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah. They think that the hind feet are steeper than the front feet, but I'm
And
starting to think that the front feet a lot
need
of
to be,
times are as or steeper, or at least they have bigger cartilages, and they do have bigger cartilages and more heel. Um, like that on our group page, the picture I have up at the top of the the inner foot, and then there's the horse that trimmed its heels out, the barefoot model, and then there's just a wild horse foot somebody found. You can see on there that that's a front foot, and that horse had a lot of heel.
yeah,
And something I've been noticing is the I don't know if it's this way on all of them. Now I'm going to be dissecting a bunch of feet here pretty soon, so I'm going to look. And that is that the little heel here. I'll draw. Let's see. Wait a minute. Okay. Wait a second. Let me do something here. Ah, something's biting me. Okay, so let's see here. Use red. So, uh, the heel, like back here, like
Yeah.
ideal. This would go like this. Okay, and so if it was a back foot, it goes like this. Not as much heel. See,
Okay. Yep.
that's what I've been noticing. But a lot of heel like this on the front and very big cartilages and supposed to have a very steep dorsal wall, you
I
know.
agree. I agree.
And so then it's more dramatic when you're lowering these heels because okay, so these feet, they if it's shaped like this, then it needs a heel that's this long at least,
Yeah.
supporting the back of it, with
Yep.
that much sole underneath it. Kind of be like that. Um, and so, when they lower that, that just devastates those front feet. And this is what you see is that more feet are foundered or laminitis in front than in the rear.
Yes, exactly. And that there shouldn't be it it's just a misperception, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's setting these horses back in performance because the horses that come over from Europe, they have an upright foot. They're not
Oh, yeah.
maiming in Europe.
Yeah.
They get maimed as soon as they come over here,
Yeah. I believe it. You
and
know,
that's what we have to shift the paradigm to, get these. Now, some farriers understand, or they'll say, oh, this horse has a good foot. They don't
mhm.
know how to fix a bad foot. And I had
Yeah.
so many farriers that would come in and they would say, I'll help you. And they would take my horse down the path. And then they would look at me and say, I don't know what to do for your horse. I
Yeah.
can't, there's nothing to nail to because
Yeah.
they'd grow the foot and then so there would be something to nail to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they'd put a nail, in front of the clips in front, but they wouldn't take the toe back.
Hmm.
And so we were just going nowhere. And he'd rip a shoe off or the hoof wall would disintegrate after, you know, we'd try to push that growth cycle to grow
Hmm.
some foot and keep those shoes on. And then he'd blow a hoof wall out.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing. I can see where there's nothing to nail to. He's
Yeah.
all hollow in here well, first of all, let me make this bigger. What color I want it? Let's use blue. Let's go up here. Let's make it bigger. Okay, so first of all, his cartilages should come clear out here like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're
Then
talking
his toe would be steeper, like
he,
like that
yes.
more. Well, that
Yep.
ain't even right. I didn't do that very good. Let me redo that, Cat. My drawing today is not good. Just a minute. That wouldn't be right either. Okay, so be coming around out here, about like so, and then more down like that. And so let's make a hairline like so.
Yeah.
Um, and
That
then
would be
so
that would be lovely if he looked like that.
yeah. And so you see all these horn tubules here.
Oh yeah.
They go like this when they're supposed to be. This one here should be right here.
Yep.
It would go right, grow to here. It would join up with the sole right there. And then they would grow to the ground together. And then all this area in here would have real strong sole and strong wall and something, if you did need to shoe, something to nail to,
Yep.
you know? But when these have become disconnected
Yeah.
right in here, see this one here is supposed to be connected there, but it's up here. So it's
Yep.
really not connected to the sole. And so you'll
Okay.
see a lot of white line separation. It's
I
it's just hollow in here. I mean, you're nailing to nothing,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. You
So
are so right. You're so right. And because he's, 2,000 pounds of horse,
yeah.
um, he knows he's vulnerable. He
Yeah.
knows, he's hanging on by a thread,
Yeah.
and it,
I'm just looking at these shoes. See, they're clear up here.
I know it's,
You know, his
uh,
heel's clear up here.
yeah.
You know, now huh, yeah, it's
I
just kind of a mechanical nightmare going on for him there. You
Yep.
know, how would you get these to come back even and line up again with
That's
shoes like that? You couldn't. I mean, they look like little, like they're not even big enough
no,
at
they're like
all.
nope. And but that's again, these some of these farriers who've done this are ones that recommended by this Olympic trainer,
You
or
bet.
oh well, they're doing horses in Wellington and not having a problem. I don't know why you're having a problem. Well, because I have a horse that needs a really good farrier, that needs help, and they don't
Yeah.
know, they
Well,
don't know how.
they're
The
having problems. They just don't know it yet.
Well, so
You
one
know,
of the
they
farriers,
may not every horse is gonna respond the same, you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
But if it weren't for you, I would not have hope that this horse, he was in Wellington. He won 3 out of 4 classes the
Wow.
final week of 2020 in the hunters. I mean, this horse is fancy, and he
Yeah.
should be international
Wow.
quality, and
Yeah.
he's super athletic. But with these feet, he
Yeah.
he he
You can't.
he will he can't do it, and
Yeah.
that's what's killing me, is that I want him to achieve what he deserves, which
Yeah.
is to be able to perform at the level where he's he's legitimately, a jaw-dropping athlete, and
Hmm.
it's just without a foot, no hoof, no horse.
Yeah. How old is he?
He's 13. I mean, this
Oh,
is
he's
it.
just in his prime,
Exactly.
you know?
Yep. Well, for his age, because
Yeah.
that's the other thing. They pushed him into work. He was too young.
Yep.
They had him into double bridle at 4,
Mm.
and I pick him up because he didn't want to, he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And he was unrideable. And I said, well, he's unrideable because he's actually bred to jump. I said, well,
Uh-huh.
he'll have, we'll put him into a program where, he won't have to be on the bit in a double bridle.
So they had him in dressage.
Yeah, he was he was in dressage, but so he didn't associate jumping with the pain. But I got on him, Linda. He had
Hmm.
no walk. They had taken away his walk.
Oh.
He just, so we've had to go back to square one on so many aspects of
Uh-huh.
his career. And you know I've had people say, why are you still hanging on to this? It's like, well, I believe that we're gonna get, I'm stubborn. I'm gonna find a way to get this horse. So you're like the
Yeah.
last piece. um, the last piece of hope
Can
for him.
can you take probably some more pictures of his feet or what send me whatever you have?
Yeah, I'm
Um
having trouble moving to the. Let me see if I can. Might lose you for a minute. Um, okay.
wow, he's beautiful.
Oh yeah, he's
Wow.
super super nice animal. Just wow. And okay,
I mean, he just looks so powerful. Jeez.
yeah. He's sometimes go to YouTube and you can see the videos of him of why I bought him. If
Okay.
you look up if you look up Falcon, FAULKAN, they have his sales videos. And I just I just took a look at that and I said, oh my gosh, he's jumping a 5-foot fence and like beautifully. Um, but even when he came to me, the uh, the the vet said his feet are going to be the issue. Like that's always been his.
Mhm. His
What?
so his I think his bulbs are squeezed together.
Yes, and that's what I can't
There's
get.
just a crack there.
Yeah, I can't get in there to to release any of that. I can't. There's nothing to grab, and then you see how the hoof wall is separating um, up in the front. Which, if I can, take that back, I'd be happy
Let's
to.
see. Rotate. Uh yeah, see this crack right here?
Yeah.
So so his bulbs are together
Yes.
there. Yeah. And see, one thing that has to start happening is got to get down to the true apex here. When it you got to find where the the frog and the sole meet. See,
And
so
that's
this,
what you can see. I'm starting to try to trim that away, right?
yeah,
Try
I've
to
seen
pull.
that. I've seen that. I'll show you what one looks like here.
Okay.
Just a minute here. Yeah, it's really important to learn. One of the first things to learn is how to find the true apex of the frog, which I see I'm going to be doing some dissections here pretty soon. Got a camera now. And
Well, it's like
uh
an inch and a half back from the bars. I mean,
mhm.
right? But I wonder on measurements for such a big horse. Does that matter?
uh we do it by proportions.
Yeah.
See, irregardless of where that is, I can look at it and tell that it's stretched forward because they usually always are with the toe like that.
Yeah.
And so it's stretched forward or just even grown forward and laying over the sole.
Right.
Okay. Um, so, one thing it'd be good to have for him is if I had like, well, I suppose I could look up sizes on shoes and what size, what'd you say was a seven?
Well, he's a 5 or a 6 at the moment. I mean, he really is a 6. I just bought a pair of 8 easy boots for him,
Uh-huh.
and they fit.
Oh, okay.
So, so and those are the easy trail boot, which you know fit.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna put him in those, um, to try to get him comfortable.
Okay. Okay, you see here?
Yeah.
Okay, there's no longer any kind of a crack there. Or
Yes.
okay, it blends because the coriums just go from one corium to the next. They blend
Okay.
into each other. And so it would just you would trim it down uh and trim down the sole and trim down the frog until you find where they blend together. And it'll be round like that.
Okay. Okay. Not like pointed like we.
No, yeah. Ah, let's see
Okay.
here. Um, see, that's
As a
one
show,
thing. What?
right. I was going to show you these shoes. They put these Morrison rollers on him. The
Okay,
last shoes he
I've
was
heard of
in.
those.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
see.
they're fine until you see. I don't know what you're seeing. Are you seeing me at all?
Just a minute. No,
No.
I'm not.
Okay. Let me see. Chat.
Let's see. And now I've lost everyone. Just mm, 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 mm. Oh goodness me.
This is awful. This is like this incredibly torturous.
Let's see. Okay, I've lost everybody again. I don't know what I do. Let's stop sharing, then everybody shows up. Okay, there we go.
We're all muted.
You're all muted. I'm muted.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not muted though. You can hear me, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. Good deal. Okay. Well,
Oh my God. I
did you send me another picture?
no, but I was gonna show you these shoes.
Okay. What you
Okay,
have to
look.
do, you have to you have to air. I just asked you to start video.
Okay.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a Morrison shoe. This is the glue that stuck into his foot. You see that?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was that so the same amount of glue on the right front
Uh-huh.
sticking into his foot. You
Okay.
see?
Yeah.
As the left sticking that
Oh,
hard.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
that
they
would
did to
hurt.
him.
Look at that. Yeah.
That was what was on him.
Sticking
Sticking
into his soul and stuff.
yeah, and the concept of the shoe, is a rolling roller,
Oh yeah, okay. It rocks
okay?
kind of.
So kind
Yep,
of,
kind of.
but then the poor horse had this and the farrier wouldn't take it off
Yeah.
in
y-
on
Yeah,
both feet. Both feet.
and he wouldn't come back and take them off.
He wouldn't take them off. He said, I can't work with you anymore.
Can
And I
I
said, well, you won't even come take these off. It was horrible.
see how they so not all of them are like that, but you know, it's not their fault really. Uh it's this is all inherited error for
Yeah.
centuries. 270
Yeah.
some years of error from the vet schools.
And I honestly think and this is going to go out there on a limb, but a lot of these, uh, they do a ton of coffin joint injections on these horses that
Yep.
are all hurting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're not going well. Let's do a coffin joint injection
Yeah,
because
because they're uh because they're trimming the main part of the foot that they're supposed to that is the functioning part of the foot.
yeah,
The calf bone doesn't really do a lot. I mean, it's needed there, it's part of the structure, but it's the back of that foot, you know.
yeah,
Um that the coffin bone didn't bear a lot of weight. or anything, because that short pastern and long pastern, they descend backwards. They're always descending back.
Right.
And so the main part of the foot is the back of the foot. And so I was thinking about how intact, when we go to determine what's going on with the foot, the very first thing that we should look at is the side view and the cartilage,
Yeah.
because that tells it all. Uh,
Yep.
you know, just like the situation with the foot on the group, how we're looking at the back of the foot. The sole of the foot is very deceptive, and back looking at the heels can be very deceptive. But when you're looking at the side of that foot, if you understand what that cartilage is supposed to look like, what that hairline is supposed to look like, where that coronary band goes, then you're not going to get deceived as easy. Still
Right.
some, because man, some horses have humongous cartilages, and so they can still be bound up and have big cartilages, and you don't realize it. But there is a whole configuration to the back of that foot that
Yeah.
has to be understood and then has to be maintained. And that is the problem, that they have never understood the back of that foot. Because, first of all, hoof capsules, first of all, they didn't even know the horse had an actual foot. They think it's tissue. They just consider it tissue. They don't see a foot covered with skin. And so, they don't, that skin is a container. It holds on, it covers the whole foot. It's the first container.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a specific apparatus, there's a specific function, that the way that foot demands to be supported by that capsule so that they work together. And they don't know this. And what's worse, but it's even worse than that, because what they do know is the opposite of what they should know.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
you
So
you believe a lie, because that's what it is. It's a
yeah.
lie. They believe falsehood. They believe error passed down
Yeah.
to them for centuries. And so these have been killing horses for centuries.
Oh
So,
God.
and
Yeah.
now you've heard me talk about Bracy Clark, or have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Bracy Clark, when the first vet school opened in London, the Royal Veterinary College, Bracy Clark was one of the 3 students that first graduated from there. And of course, it was opened for the horse. And so as soon as he left the college, he went right into uh, uh, doctoring horses and stuff like that. And so after about 10 years, he says in his book that he wrote, he said that he goes about 9 years or so, or whatever. He says, it became obvious to me that the reason put forth from the farriers, which he calls them smiths, as to why the horse's heels are contracted was not real. In other words, he saw that what they were saying was not correct. And so he went about to try and develop a different way of shoeing and things like that. But in his book, which is called Hippodonamia, he taught. Okay, did you ever read Bad Black Beauty?
Yeah.
Okay, so you talk to people these days, who you know stuff. Okay, so you remember Black Beauty's talking about the carriage horses and about how it was high
Yeah.
fashion to put the check rein on them to keep their heads way up. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
well, come to find out, that isn't why they did it. They did it because, and this is written in Bracy Clark's book, they did it because if they didn't, the horses would trip and fall.
Oh gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, so they really jacked their heads up to keep them from tripping and falling.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I can
and
imagine.
yeah, and so he talks about the torture that horses endured and how so many horses were going lame. And he talks about the false doctrine, he calls it the false doctrine of frog pressure that they
Yeah.
were all practicing because it made them lower the heels.
Yeah,
See?
well, yep. And we tried frog pressure on this big horse. He
Mm-hmm.
would take steps like he was being stung. I
Yeah,
mean, he could not handle any frog pressure because the frog was so bound up, and
yeah,
then we're adding pressure to that bound up foot.
yeah.
I mean, that the fact that this horse was as kind as he was,
Mm-hmm.
um, but he became unrideable because he became having he had to scream, "This hurts,"
Yeah.
because didn't know, I didn't know, and I
Guys,
couldn't
it's
figure
terrible,
out.
isn't it?
He's like the sweetest horse ever, but you get on him and he would become unrideable, but he was trying to protect himself.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was saying, if you do this to me and make me work, I'm going to hurt myself,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not listening. It's
Yeah.
like I'm trying. I'm really trying.
Trying to. Yeah, see, that's a whole thing. Nobody's been listening. And that's kind of what happened to me is so this image was put in my head of that one dead wild horse that wore its heels out. And I tried to put that on my horse for 7 years. And so but my horse kept telling me I was a liar, you know,
Mhm.
because I kept thinking, okay, this wild horse quality foot they keep telling me about is right around the next trim,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
kept getting worse instead of better. And then finally, one time in 2014, I trimmed him to specs, like what they
yeah,
said. And he was standing there, and I went to move him away, and he leaned way back
yeah.
and he kind of put a foot over. It was like I cut his feet off,
Oh man.
you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that was the last time I trimmed him like that.
yeah.
I gave up for a year and stuff and really just let his feet grow. He did a lot better without me touching him, you
Is
know.
that what the 4-point trim is they all talk about?
Yep.
What is, oh,
Yeah.
that's what they're
They're
doing.
they're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the 4-point trim, okay, that's Rick Redden, and that's kind of a oh God, yeah, the history of this is so ridiculous. Okay, the 4-point trim comes from a combination of Jamie Jackson and Gene Ovanek, who are two guys who Gene uh Jamie Jackson says he did wild horse research from 1982 to 1986, and he based his whole trim on one dead wild horse that wore its heels out. And then in 86 and 87, there was Gene Ovanik. Now, he really did do research and he has pictures of wild horse feet, and his deal was completely different. And he is the one that developed the natural balance
Okay.
shoeing system and trim with the square shoes. Okay, so
Okay.
there's a whole reason. Now, neither of these guys at first knew about the other one, but
Uh,
they cancel each other out.
yeah.
Uh, first of all, Ovanek cancels Jackson out totally because
Uh-huh.
Ovanek has pictures of the feet that he studied, and Jackson has none.
Mm.
Even though he says he thoroughly examined, measured, and photographed 1,000 feet on 250 horses, as he would say, 500 sets. You know,
Oh boy.
yeah, how silly is that? Um, no pictures.
Mm.
What's that say? I don't know what
No
that
proof.
says, but something's wrong. You know what?
Yeah.
So so he had me trying to get that foot on my horse, that one dead wild horse foot that wore its heels out. And
Oh, man.
that's what he has all of them doing all over the world.
Yeah.
This this foot, you see it on every barefoot site, you see it all over the internet. Um, and that's what everybody's trying to do. And it is put forth as the ideal foot that you should have on your horse.
Okay.
So,
There you go. There you
so
go. Yep.
that's if it isn't that the vet schools are forcing the whole frog pressure thing, it's the same thing with this so-called natural trim, which is not natural at all.
Right.
Okay, in that they want you to have a 30-degree hairline with the bulbs
Oh
on the
yeah.
ground. See,
Well,
I'll
and the thing is, they were pushing that, the hind feet, that coronary band should be at a degree where if you followed it all the way up to the elbow of the horse,
mm-hmm.
that was the angle that you were aiming for. So you
Yeah,
would lower the heel, so you would have that coronary band. But again, that's putting a negative palmar angle
yeah,
behind. So
yeah,
you're not only maiming the front of the horse, you're causing all kinds of issues behind.
yeah. I'll
And
show.
people are less concerned about the hind feet, but that what do they do? SI and hock injections.
Yeah, because they're taking away the foot of the horse.
Yep.
You know.
And
Um.
the ability to absorb the concussion. It's going to go
Yeah.
somewhere.
Let's see if I
Yeah.
can find this one picture. I probably can't. Well, thanks for taking us out there and showing it. I do want to see it. I really want to try and help you. And I know Holly's helping you too.
Well, I
Maybe
would love it.
between the two of us, we can come up with some other ideas that'll help you with them.
Well, I would love it. I can actually see what I want. And that's where I differ. Like I said, I've taken so many x-rays and pointed it out to the vets, and the vets will say to the farriers, "Oh, you're on the right track." I'm like, "No, they're not. That's why we're taking these pictures. Do you see this?" The vets don't even see it. And
Yeah,
I'm so
they did.
hopeful.
Well, look,
They've been,
yeah, my eyes were blinded
yeah,
for so long. And here's the thing, I would look at pictures of feet that were right, and I knew they were right, but yet this other image had still been put in my head. So I was still trying to trim my horse like that, you know.
okay,
But the horse kept see if somebody can get a hold of you before you really know anything and they can put a certain image in your head or thought or idea that you think is true, even
yeah.
if it isn't, then you could look right at something that's staring you flat in the
And
face.
it's a,
Yeah, you don't see it. You've been
but
indoctrinated. See?
yep,
Uh
that's true for so many things today, right?
yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, train a child. You take a child, you put them in school, you put even an adult in a place where people seem to be authorities. And then you present what seems to be a logical argument because that person doesn't know anything anyway. So you could leave stuff out. Maybe you didn't even do it on purpose. Okay.
Right.
But you came to a conclusion and you had all these pieces you put together and you came to this conclusion. That person doesn't know anything about the subject. You present how you came to that conclusion. Well, you've brought them to the same conclusion. And so they think it's true. And this happens to us all the time. You know,
Right.
that's why I really, uh, I wish I could find this deal, but I guess I'm not going to be able to find it. But anyway, um, we have to check out everybody's conclusions. You know,
Right.
that's science. See, science is just the word knowledge, and it always comes from some man, you know, and so that's his conclusions of what he thinks happened or what he thinks is true. But he might not have all the facts. And if you add something to the pile, it could change the conclusion
Right.
because the conclusion is the truth. See?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, it's a joy to be on the path because not only do, I mean, I've actually got, two horses with this that have this immense potential. My other one's an off the track thoroughbred whose grandsire won the Triple Crown and his sire won the Breeders' Cup. I mean, he is royally bred.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
horse's feet are, he has a high low, but
Yep.
both those feet are so bound. No wonder why he couldn't run.
Yeah.
Um, and my my thing is, he's a super athlete. I've seen him jump a 5 foot metal gate,
Hmm.
from a trot. I got to get that horse back too, and
Yeah.
it's only their feet that are keeping them from
From
achieving.
doing something. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're both part of this. You know, my whole thing is, how do we get these performance horses? How do we get these people to understand that these horses can do better? We're not doing them justice, and we're
Yeah.
losing a lot of these horses that could be saved because it's their feet. That's why they're not, you know, where
Yep.
they need to be. So I'm
Yep.
looking forward to the process. And like I said, I'm coming at it from, we got a lot to do, to change the paradigm. But
Yeah.
if we have, you know, we've got the Swiss team jumping these in the Olympics barefoot. I mean,
Hmm.
there is a trend. People want to go that route.
Yeah.
Just don't have the people that can do it correctly. So,
Well, that's it. Because all the teachings, all the barefoot goes back to primarily one guy, and that's the guy that based his trim on one dead wild horse that wore its heels out. And not only that, but you know how rear feet are different than front feet, right?
right.
Well, so he's given this mare by BLM, Bureau of Land Management, not the other guys, and she died in a roundup, so they never saw her move ever.
Mm,
And yet he bases his whole trim on how wonderfully these horses move and everything. He never saw this horse move ever. She
oh
was
man.
dead when he got her. And so she had two set, well, front feet, back feet. You could clearly see the run forward, terrible heels on the front feet.
Yeah.
But the back feet had almost no heel at all. And so it was the back rear foot that became the poster child, the centerfold model for the so called natural hoof care movement.
Wow.
And so everybody is trying to get that foot, a 30-degree hairline, bulbs on the ground, on their horses when the internal foot, especially the front feet,
Yeah.
are not like that.
Right.
And so very many horses, people have a lot. That's why the boot companies went wild.
Yeah.
There weren't all these boot companies before
You're
natural
right.
care.
You're right. You're right.
Okay, so because so many horses do not transition, okay, then we got the boots and stuff, which, hey, boots are great, whatever, but there are horses that never transition. In fact,
Yeah.
most of them don't really transition to barefoot, to
Yeah.
staying barefoot and being sound on all terrain all the
Right.
time.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, and that is because we're trying to put a foot on them that they don't have to begin with.
Hmm.
See? Um, and so, I'm just hoping that eventually we'll have some materials and really, really, really be able to show people, look, this is what's happening. Hopefully anyway,
Oh
uh,
yeah. I truly believe it. I believe you're there. I think you're there, I think you've got a lot of proof, and you know, the next stage is to get these horses, you know, like you said, have the picture, the progression, and then the performance to go with it. And then,
yeah,
you know, blow things up with that. That's why, you know, from my selfish standpoint, like I just want to get these horses where they need to be because with that, you know, comes credibility for choosing this path. You know,
Hmm.
why did you take the shoes off? Well, because they weren't gonna be sound very long.
Yeah.
You know, we might
Yep.
have gotten a little bit out of them, but I want them to be sound, you know, have a
Yeah.
long career.
Yeah. Well, and see, I'll sure help you all I can. Try and
Okay.
come up with ideas to help them out. The
Ah,
hardest part is the trim.
yeah.
That's the hardest part. So
Hey,
are
one
you gonna just trim? Are you're learning to trim them yourself then?
well, at this
Or are you
point I
gonna have
am.
somebody help you or
At this point I am. And one last question because I gotta jump. It's my girlfriend's birthday dinner. Um, but the Evo, there's the Evo regular bar and rasp, but then there's the Evo uh like thicker one. Do y'all have have you tried them? The Evo rasps?
I have not.
Okay.
Uh I have not. I've
Okay.
tried all kinds of other rasps, but I don't think I've tried that one.
That's the one Holly was using, so I'll ask her what she
Okay.
thinks.
Okay.
And then I'll touch base with you because I did a lot with him last night and I was gonna check. I thought I'd have time to go in and do a little more.
Are
Um
are you in Kentucky?
I'm in Aiken, South Carolina. I'm in
You're
horse
in South
country.
Carolina? Okay.
Yeah.
That's horse country, huh?
Oh my God, it's the horse capital of the world.
I did not know that.
Uh-huh. It is.
Okay. I
We
thought
have every
Kentucky was.
well, yeah, Lexington is, but Aiken has got polo, it's got jumpers, hunters, ropers, rangers, you name it, they're here.
Boy,
So
you
thank you.
know,
I'm gonna jump.
okay, well, we're gonna let you go. And thank you very much for sharing that horse with us and
And we'll,
what you've been through. And man, I just can't even imagine this horse if he had good feet. Boy, I mean, wow.
we're gonna get him there.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Love
Okay,
you.
hey, thank you.
Thanks.
Love you too, Lee. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.
What are you doing, Jack?
Hi, happy birthday.
This is another tack trimmer, by the way. She's
Oh, it is? Okay,
following
I
you
didn't know
too.
that. I thought that was your friend. That is it your
It
birthday
is.
today?
She's
Well,
she's
happy
my friend.
birthday.
Thank
That's
you so
awesome.
much. Thank you. That's
Hey,
Linda from tack.
Okay. Well, nice
hey.
to hear your voice. I've been following you for a long time. I've
Oh,
been watching your videos and following you for, oh God, probably 4 or 5 years now.
oh wow, wow.
And
Well,
so I've
very
learned
nice
a
to meet
ton. So
you.
thank you. You
Yeah,
too. Thank you.
that's awesome. Well, thank you for telling me that. That gives me encouragement for sure.
Well, good.
Yeah.
And nice to talk to you on my birthday. So hooray.
Yeah. Well, I
Nice
just
birthday
wish you
present,
the
Linda.
happiest of birthdays. And thank you very much
Thank you.
for following me to so and helping your horse.
Thank
Because
you so
every
much.
single person means so much. Um and someday this is all going to be a thing of the past and people are going to
I
know that,
sure hope so.
you
I
know.
sure hope so. I'm on the bitless bandwagon too, by the way.
Oh yeah, good. No, that's fine. That's awesome. Hey, we see these people riding them with nothing, you know?
Yes,
So wow, all that is wonderful because they are such wonderful creatures. They have served us so well and they
I
sure
know it.
deserve better,
I know
you
it.
know?
That is for darn sure. They deserve kindness and care. That's for
Yep,
sure.
that's right. That's right. Well, hey, you
All
guys, have a very happy birthday. Have a
Thank
good
you.
time tonight. I see some good wine up there on the wall.
Oh yeah.
right.
Um,
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
okay, thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye, Linda.
Bye bye.
I didn't understand your text.
Well, that was great. Let's see here. Where am I at and what am I doing? View. Uh, gallery. Okay. All right. Well, hello. Well, hi, Jan's iPhone. Okay, Roberta, why don't we look at your horse? Are you there?
Okey-doke. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, let's look at your horse. Let's do that next. Let's see, 6:52. I'm gonna go to Facebook. And I seen you sent me a note, but I didn't have time to look at it yet. So,
That's okay. I know it's all good.
okay, good. Let's see here. Da-da-da-da.
The note was in I did send trim pictures and the note was about the bars. I have the
Okay,
worst. I think I just get in my head a lot about trimming the bars. I don't
okay.
have a problem taking material away. It's just,
Uh, I like,
do you do it
let's
at an
see here.
angle?
Just a minute here. Hold
Okie
on.
doke.
Okay. Hold on just 1 second. Let's see. I'm going to share the screen. Okay, now, I gotta tell you something, Roberta. All right,
Uh-oh.
I gotta tell you something. All right, and that is I can't do nothing about the bars. Okay, I just don't even know how to handle a bar. Are you getting my joke? You sent me a picture of a bear. Okay, she sent me a picture of a bear. Okay, so
That
I was
was
just
that. You know what? That bear visits me every weekend.
that's awesome.
He comes on my porch and I'll sit, and there's only glass between us.
Uh-huh.
And I'll put my hand up and
Mm-hmm.
he's like sitting like a little female cow, female dog.
Yeah.
And he'll lift his paw up and put it to the glass
Oh, how
gentle.
cool is that?
And
Oh,
then I'll lift the other hand and put it to the glass. And he'll
uh-huh.
lift his other paw and put it to mine.
Aw.
And I say a few words and he goes on about his business. Yeah, it's
Aw.
pretty neat. I don't
That's so
trust him,
awesome.
but yeah, that kind of snuck in there. My bad.
No, that's great. I just thought I'd make a joke out of it. You were talking about the bars.
Yes.
You got a little bit of that southern accent there too, you know. So I
Yeah.
thought, well, I can't do nothing about them bars. What you were thinking, you was going, what is she talking about?
Well, I hadn't looked at my phone yet. Then when I
Yeah,
looked at it, I
just
got it.
there's just this real silence. Huh? Oh, that's great. Well,
Oh,
that's really awesome to be able to have that going on. Okay, so here we are. We're at the
yeah.
right front. When did you take this picture?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Okie doke. Let's see. And this is yesterday too?
Yes, that whole 12 pictures are yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Just the front, two fronts.
Okay, good. Well, is it just me or are they looking better? I think they're looking better. It looks like the back of the foot has stood up more.
That's what I thought. And I just wanted to
Yeah,
see if I was seeing it correctly.
yeah, I do believe so. I think our notches are working. Yeah. Now, I
I
forgot,
did
is it? Oh, go ahead.
I did take off, well, the dorsal wall from coronary band to the toe, not the ground, is 3 7/8. And that's where I've kept her
Okay.
for 3 trims. I guess so,
Okay.
6 weeks.
Okay. Um, something that you might want to get is a sole rasp, a sole bar rasp. Um, uh, now, what kind of tools have you got so far?
I've got everything except the soul bar rasp.
Okay. I think that would help right in here and getting the bars down. This bar here, I'm
That
gonna,
that's the one that the quarter wall slash heel blew out.
yeah,
Yep.
okay. Um, let's see here. Share. What I'll do is I'll do a markup here and then I'll send you. Oh, where am I? I'll send it to you. Let's see. New
When
share.
I take the bar off, do I take that at an angle or am I just straight back or a little of both?
What you do
I
is,
get so
the
confused.
oh, I know the bar wall is a certain thickness, just like the hoof wall over here. Okay, so you got the let me annotate here. Just a minute here. Okay, so you got just like you have a thickness of the wall here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this bar actually has a specific thickness as well. Same deal. Only thing is, and it's layered. Like you got an outer layer that's dark, and then it gets white, and then um you've got a white line here too, even though it may be covered up and we're not seeing it. See? And so what happens is when the bars don't get trimmed consistently, okay, then the white part, it will start growing over the sole here. And it'll be hard to find your actual bar wall. So eventually what you want to find is you want to make sure that you're finding this defined bar wall in here. And so what you're looking for is you're looking to take the hook of that knife, not to gouge any sole, but to find that bar wall and just take your little hook. Let me just see. A second here. Take the little hook, here's your knife, and it's
Mm-hmm.
got this little hook here, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, just this little part right here, and you just follow it kind of down like that, like you lay it over the side and you would just kind of try and follow it. Or if you can get it right on the top of it, then you just take the wall down and follow the wall down. Like you can kind of see a little bit of it here. Okay, but then it's kind of smooshed up over here. You
Mm-hmm.
got the layer. In reality, it would have layers. It would be like this, but because it was not ever trimmed right, then this inner layer here grew up over the sole here. That's probably bar wall there. It can grow up, and like this little white part here, that's probably what the inner layer that's grown up over that. Eventually,
Wow.
what we want to do is we want to be able to um, have a clean white line all the way around, like so, and it's yellow. So, but that you don't dig for it or try and force it. It's something that'll come as the foot is being corrected here. And anyway, um,
So say I find the bar white line.
mhm.
Now I'm not going to go down. Will I take off any more material once I find the white line?
No, nope. Nope, you would like say you see this white smooshy part here. Okay,
Yes.
probably under that somewhere is the other layer. Now that layer can also grow all over the sole and it's more clear so you never see it, you know. But if you just start coming in here and just lifting, you're just like like if you were trying to peel a tomato,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you
Okay.
peel an apple, you peel a potato, you peel a potato, you know, it's a lot thinner when you peel a tomato, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this would be, you'd be laying your knife on its side and just barely kind of trying to lift this off, like down this way, you know, just in little, trying not to make gouge marks, just a flat, more of a flat mark, you know. You're not wanting to
Okay.
go deep in the sole. You're just kind of following that over a little bit. And eventually you will be able to define the bars so that there's bar wall. See? Now, on this wall here, is any of it higher than the sole?
Yes.
Okay.
Except at the toe, of course, that's all stretched.
Okay. Yeah, it's like it grows down and then out.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh. Where, let me see if I can find this picture. Hold on here. Horse and self trim. Oh gosh, I found it earlier and I wanted to start hoof and self trim. Let me see if I can find it. This is a good one. Um I think I put it under hoof. CDFT hoof. The hoof memes. God, I hate that. I'll run into pictures I want to show people. Hoof and self trim. Where are you? Well, next time I'm just going to post it on the group when I find it. Maybe it's under S. HIJKLMNOPQRS. Well, let's see. Self trim, coffin bone. Drat. Well, I can't find it. Gosh darn it. I really wanted to show people that. Oh, maybe that's foot. Foot and self trim. Maybe that's what I put it under. Just a minute. I'll see. Foot. Probably not. Now I'm totally lost. Well, I can't find it. Gosh darn it. So, okay, let's go back to this. Okay, so I want to look at some more pictures here. Oh, let me look at your frog, see how that's going. Just a second. Okay. I think you're doing good with the frog. Okay. It looks like you got a whole layer off there, down to pretty fresh frog. Did you feel like you did pretty good there?
Yeah, I could probably take more.
Okay. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna go back and let's see. New share. I think that you could take this toe back a little bit. I'd take, let's go back here.
A
Maybe
little bit more.
just a little bit. Yeah, probably Probably come over here, probably about that much. That much, and then just bevel that. Okay. In fact, you can just bevel it. Like if you were looking down at it here and you just take a rasp, you can take a marker and just, I'll send you a picture of this
Okay.
and just mark it. And then you're standing up there, you just bevel it.
Okay.
And then, and you know, it's not going to make a heavy, deep bevel, but it's still going to keep a little leverage on the toe here, which you need. And so I would work on these bars. You want to take all this off.
I think that's what's holding her up
The
because I
bar.
really have trouble with those bars.
Yeah. You'll get it. You'll get it. It'll come together for you. Okay. So I would just work on the bars. Maybe I I'm not too worried about that frog as yet. Okay. But get some of this off the toe. And then let me send you a picture.
Her bulbs aren't on the ground.
Yeah.
I
How
mean,
great is
they're
that?
it's wonderful.
Yeah, her foot has stood up. And here's what I'm thinking too, because I've been thinking about this for a while about what does leverage on the toe do? Well, in the breakover, it stretches the back of the foot up in the capsule. So it's pulling the back of the foot up, just like if you had shoes that were too long, it's putting a little pressure to pull the back of that foot up, which I'm trying to explain how that would go. But
Yeah.
pulling the back of that foot up is gonna, well, I think it's gonna pull the whole back of the capsule and everything up. See? So just the leverage from it. Like they always say, well, that's bad, that's bad. Well, I don't know. Maybe we can make these leverages work for us in certain other
Mhm.
respects, you know? Let's see. Copy. Okay, I'll send you that. Send this picture to you and your bear. Daniel Boone killed the bar. Roberta, Roberta
Oh.
played patty cake with the bear.
Oh,
Let's see, paste. I forgot. What state are you in?
Virginia,
Virginia. Okay,
Southwest part.
Southwest Virginia.
Hmm.
Is that close to
Outside of Roanoke.
okay. Yep. Okay, let's see here. All right, so we got that. Let's go back and look at some more pictures.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Let's see. I need to get rid of that. Annotate, wipe out those, clear all drawings. Okay. Okay. Yeah, our bulbs are up off the ground. See, I think it's for two reasons. One, I think those notches helped, but allowing the notches, allowing the heels to grow and go ahead and keeping the toe a little long created a source of leverage on the back of the foot that helped that foot pull up. You know, there would have been a stretch there in the back of that foot, forcing
Hmm.
it to pull up. Yeah,
What
oh, go ahead.
what else I've noticed is, let's see, on the uh, um, quarter wall,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a whole lot of inflammation or irritation because a lot of that, there's some there, but it's not like the whole side wall because
Uh-huh.
it's turned white.
Okay.
If you,
Was red before, wasn't it?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
see that where that white is there?
Yeah, I'm
That
gonna
used to
get it.
all be red.
Just a minute here. Hold on. Let's see. I want to get it so I can make it bigger here. New share. Okay, there we go. Yeah. I mean, the way this is standing up here. See, I'm gonna have to go, but it seems to me that it was flat as a pancake before. It was down here, going
Mm-hmm.
forward like that. So
Yeah.
there's something that happened here. I mean, this toe does not look at all as bad as it did when we were going over this before. It's like the whole foot has shifted and kind of stood up more.
I think so.
Yeah, I know so. Yeah, I'm pretty positive. And like you said, there's the red isn't like it was either.
Mm-hmm.
So are you ready to try another notch?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, let's man, I wish I could find that other deal. I got these pictures of this horse in self trim, and he has literally broken all this stuff off just perfectly. But his toe, he has a piece of toe that sticks out this far.
Oh my word.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing, and the rest of his foot looks great. You can see where he's just busted off all over the place, in a good way. And so the only parts that haven't busted off is like big old chunk of toe clear out to here. It's funny. I got it. Horse in self trim. That's the name of it. Let me go. I'll go see if I can find that. Just a second here. Horse in self trim. We'll see. I forget when I name things. Let's see. Pictures. Let's see if I can type it. Yeah, nope. No such luck. Just a minute here. Pictures. Libraries. Okay, let's see. ABCDFG H.
Would the bulbs have to come back before the coffin bone would start going back to where it's supposed to be?
Um, it's going to be a combination of holding that toe forward and then the back of that foot unbinding.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and of course that wasn't where that picture was. Darn. Okay, well, so much for that. Okay, so I'm going to take a photo of this and then mark it up. A second here. Right. I mean, you don't know how it is like pulling teeth for all the nerve
Yes, I do.
not to not to just want to whack that toe right off.
Yes, I do.
Yep. Let's see. Let's see where we're at here.
And it's natural, I think.
Yeah,
It's a focal point, and that makes you want to just.
yeah. But I already see improvement. The whole thing is stood up, and you haven't taken off much of that toe.
I have not.
Yeah.
I just took it off yesterday or Sunday. I guess it was Sunday, and I like I said, I just keep her at 4 inches from the coronary band to the end of the toe.
Hmm. And that's good because you've got, I mean, she's spread out like that, you know. Um it's different if she's like if she was straight up and down like that, 4 inches it'd be way high. That'd have her jacked up like that. Like you can imagine if this toe all came back to
Yeah, you
here.
don't have a picture on there.
Oh, I don't. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so I think
There you go.
you can come up in here. I'm going to do it with the annotate so I can erase it if I need to. Second. We'll just do it in blue. Okay, so I think you see the growth rings.
I do.
Okay, so you're just going to pick a growth ring, like maybe, well, here's the where the heel is here, and just kind of maybe here, just kind of come up like that, and then down like that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, that'll work.
We'll just take the whole side.
It's working so far.
It
Well,
sure is.
yeah, I would just put a notch in there, you
Okay.
know. And if you want to put a little more notch there too, you could even do that, you know. And then just bring your toe back from the bottom
Okay.
about that much more. And then next week we'll see what happened here. And I'm going to look at other pictures to compare to because I know the back of that foot stood up, you know? Because even you said even her bulbs are off the ground now, you
They
know?
are. Absolutely. It's like, oh, I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's great. Just a second here. Okay.
I'll keep her in boots too. I'll keep them
Yeah,
wet.
yeah, that helps too a lot. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture now. Copy. Send this to you. Mm-hmm. And like similar stuff on the other foot and stuff too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing there. You know, huh. That is so interesting. And that is how long did you say you got the dorsal wall?
4 inches from the coronary band to the toe, end of
Okay.
toe, not to the ground.
Okay.
Just
Well,
end of,
you can, yeah, you don't have to take off much at all off of that for now. I
okay.
think it's doing good. I think the foot is standing up. I'm more interested in the heels and the notches, you know, getting the foot to stand up more. Uh, it did look like you have a lot of frog
Oh
there.
yeah.
Doesn't look like it here, but let's see. Okay. You share. Okay.
Which one's that one?
That's the right front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I did. No, that's what I posted. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think you can put a notch over here, right in here on that
Okay.
side. Um, there's where your one notch is. So you can put a notch right here and right here, right in front of the heel here.
Okay. Same for the other side.
Yeah. And, I'm not sure because see, he is pretty still pulled down back here. But if
Mm-hmm.
you feel like do you feel like he has a very thick frog?
It is. Yep. And a lot of it's periople.
Yeah. Okay, because it does look like there's a lot of frog here, you know. So if you could start taking some more of that down and try and form a central sulcus, which is kind of a diamond shape here, you know.
Okay.
And uh, eventually, like, what's the texture of it?
Well, after I sand it, it's not like the rubbery like you would want
Uh
because it would
huh.
it's medium hard, I guess.
Okay.
And it probably would harden up after 12 hours. Best way I
Yeah.
can describe it.
To be hard again.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is probably periopal,
Yeah.
you know. And see how this looks sucked down right there.
Yep.
Okay, so that frog is holding this all down there, you know. So and now, did you get a grinder?
I do have one.
Okay. Did you get one
That's
of
what
those?
I use on her frog.
Okay, that's great. Did you
Mm-hmm.
get some? Did you get a Proxon?
I did.
Great. And do you know where to get the little sanding discs?
Yep. I've got a
Okay.
whole bunch.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I would just keep sanding away, you know, just a little bit every day.
Okay.
Sole, sole bar, everything. Just
Okay.
light, yeah, I mean, because I feel like she's got a lot of soul and a lot of hard dead periopal frog,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I
Um,
just wasn't sure how far to take that because I
yeah,
know it's
well,
periople, so I just do a little bit.
yeah, yeah, and that's good. Just do that and just do what you're comfortable with,
Okay.
you know, and stuff. But know that when you find, see, her whole frog could be covered over with periopal. I don't know, you know, but you're gonna want to like getting down in this area here, especially, and yeah, just keep kind of whittling down till you feel some suppleness. You
Okay.
know, that's what you do till you feel some movement and stuff. So,
Okay.
okay, okay. Well, can you think of anything else?
I believe that's it. You see the bars right there?
Yeah. Now, have you measured this from here to here?
Yes, this foot, those are 2 inches. If you do hairline
Okay.
to the end,
Okay. From right here or here?
There, right
Right here?
there. Yep.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's okay. Okay, and you kind of want to watch them. Sometimes you want to just like make that level.
Flat.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and what you do is you just watch that you don't take this part down. You know, you would just like move the rasp out to the side,
Okay.
you know. But no, that's doing good. And eventually like I know that this heel, like I'm pretty sure that your collateral groove is down here somewhere right in there.
Oh my word.
So so you're doing good. I think I do see some improvement and stuff. How's she doing?
She's doing good. You know, it's just when I pick a hoof up, she has a hard time on three, but on
Yeah,
all four, she's fine.
good. Okay. Okay, and you have boots for her too, huh?
I do soaking
Yeah,
boots.
yeah. Okay. Soaking boots. What kind of soaking boots did you get?
Well, somebody on there talked about the fusion boots. I guess
Okay.
they're, I call them soaking boots because that's how I use them.
Are they easy boots or epic? Or I
All
don't
I know is fusion.
okay.
I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Very
those
well.
equine fusion boots are the ones
That's
I
it.
use.
Oh, okay.
Equine fusion. That's it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
love those. That's what I 24/7. My mare was in them all 4 feet all last summer,
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's
and
good.
this summer she's out there barefoot and running. And it's dry here too. You know, I
Uh-huh.
always talk about how hard my clay is and the rocks and
Yeah.
stuff. She's been
Yeah.
barefoot all summer.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Don't even have to boot her anymore.
Well, see, that's great. That's really good to hear.
But yeah, those equine fusion boots, and then I would buy the Easy Care foam pads, and that kept moisture in her feet and kept them from getting too hard and locked in place last
Yeah,
summer.
see, I really think moisture is key to this. I think their feet grow faster too when they got moisture. So, yeah, that's awesome. Well, okay. Well, I guess we got you set until we see you next time, huh? Roberta?
Okay. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
If I'm there,
Thanks for looking.
that'd be
Thanks
spooky.
for.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're sure welcome. Okay, well, let's see here. Stop share for a minute. Okay. Um, let's see. All right. Well, gee, there's three of us. Me, the cow. I'll tell you this funny story. So we're living on this ranch in California where we're taking care of a bunch of first calf heifers and stuff. And we had a milk cow. Well, they had some milk cows there that they had raised some calves on. And so I decided I want to take this one cow. She was so sweet. And I wanted to milk her, you know. And so I named her Ima. Her name was Ima. And so I'd go out and I would call her and I would go and I would yell really loud. I go, I'm a cow. I'm I'm a cow. Then one day I thought, what am I doing here? Calling myself a cow. Get it? I'm a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a dope. You know? Neil, my husband, hear me out there and just shake his head, you know. She'll figure it out. Oh, I loved having a cow, but
How
man, they
funny.
really tie you down.
They
Well,
sure do.
yeah. Um, okay. Well, Uh,
Nothing like fresh cow's milk, though.
oh, what'd you say?
I'm sorry. I said nothing like fresh cow's milk.
Oh man, no kidding. And at that time we had a pig too. My husband brought home a pig from the sale barn. And every time he'd come home, I say, "Hey, you know what I got? I got you something." I said, "Do I gotta feed it?" you know, because he's always bringing me some. And so we gave that pig all that milk. Oh my goodness gracious, that was like you couldn't even call that pork. And we didn't actually butcher him or anything like that. I couldn't butcher him after that, but we did give him some to some friends, and he finally did get eaten. But they gave us a package of it, and that was the best pork I ever tasted. Pork, milk-fed pork, you know. But anyway, all right. So
Sounds delish.
what?
It sounds delish.
Yeah, it was
Delicious.
great. It
Yep.
was great. And that pig had the best life too, because he was never in a pen. He was always loose. And we were on this one ranch. We were calving out 250 head of heifers, and it was in the middle of the winter. And so he'd go and he'd sandwich himself between two heifers to stay warm. I'd go out there at
Oh,
night to check heifers, and he'd
word.
be sandwiched between the two heifers, keeping warm. It was so funny. Uh, okay, well, does anybody else have some feeder or horse would like us to look at here today?
I haven't been taking pictures lately, but I've been working on some things, and my farrier's coming tomorrow, so I'm going to
Oh,
try to
okay.
take a bunch of pictures. And he just comes and helps me trim frogs and bars
Well,
and
isn't
stuff.
that
That
nice?
yeah, I've got him trained pretty well. Remember,
That's good. I
but
wish
yeah,
we
he was.
could find somebody like that.
You know,
That's
um,
awesome.
I was just watching the while ago. You were talking about the toe and stuff, and I don't know if you saw the little bit of discussion about the toe that we were having on the page.
I
Uh,
never see those discussions. Oh, you
yeah,
mean on the group or here?
yeah, on the group page,
Oh,
and
okay.
the
I don't
thing
think
about
I did.
taking the toe back, and like my farrier, every time he comes, it's like, hey, you can take this toe back, and wants me to go from the top and the front and back her all up, and
Yeah,
I go, okay, okay, and then because I won't let him touch Sky, the one
yeah,
my I'm like, no, trimmer frogs, help
yeah,
me do whatever, and then yeah, okay, I'll work on that, and then I don't do it because like I'm not, she's out there barefoot, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that,
yeah. She don't need it.
yeah, I've been running her in speed shows in the arena barefooted all summer. I mean, I just
Yeah.
can't even believe she's the same horse.
Well, see, that's
So,
great. Well, and
but I was
that's
gonna ask,
funny too. Having him do the frogs because they know how they can really whip out them frogs, boy.
oh yeah, and I can't
You
keep
know.
my nose sharp
Yeah.
enough. But yeah, my young one that's 3, she's got one wonky foot. I'm gonna try to take some good pictures of it, and
Okay.
because I got some questions on it that I might try to. I've missed a couple hoof chats, but I
Okay.
got some questions about her because I don't know. It's just weird. And
Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll be great. Yeah, we missed you.
yeah,
I miss you. I noticed you weren't here.
yeah.
Not that people have to come or anything like that, but your presence is always a blessing. And
Mhm.
so yeah, so you're noticed if you're not around. Just
Well,
want you to know.
also wondered that Sarah girl that was talking about gonna do that uh little clinic, and I
Oh
never followed
yeah.
up with that. But did she do that? And
Oh yeah, she did.
is that in one of the hoof chats? I'll have to go back and watch if it
No,
is. Oh,
no,
okay,
no.
okay.
So her and the other gal, I can't remember exactly who it was that went. I'm so terrible, but anyway, they went and they got bit.
Where did they go?
They went to Casey LaPierre's equine podiatry clinic, and he hates me. Yeah. So anyway, so he was able to indoctrinate them.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, so they're doing the Casey LaPierre trim now. Um, and you know, at first they were all enthused, and I told them, "Hey, be careful," you know,
Yeah.
because this is fact. I don't like this term because I love dogs, but you sleep with dogs, you get fleas. Okay, and and you know, when you don't, you're not, when you are not solidified in the truth, and you get around these people, they have the gift of bull.
Mhm.
Okay, and
Yeah.
and uh, and they're all marketers. See, they're really into marketing. And this is a money thing, and this is marketing, and they think they know the truth, but they don't. So they can be very convincing. And
Mm-hmm.
so that gal, she's a young gal. She hadn't been in this very long. And
Mhm.
so she got over there, and that's what happened. And they
Uh,
both got turned to equine podiatry. So since we're talking about that, I'm going to show you some things because see, I have files on all of these people and their trims and everything like that because I did their trims
uh-huh.
and stuff and followed them and studied them and stuff like that. And so when it comes to equine podiatry, in my opinion, it's just a big marketing thing. They took ideas from Gene Ovanek and Jamie Jackson. Oh, here, hold on a minute. I gotta say something to my husband. Okay, I'm back. So, in my opinion, the whole barefoot natural hoof care movement is founded on error and greed. Um, because when you go back to the head, okay, and I'm just telling you the facts. It's on YouTube. He says this stuff, but I don't agree with what he says. And so in the interview on YouTube, Jamie Jackson talking about when the barefoot movement started, okay, he, besides the fact that his trim is based on one dead wild horse that wore its heels out, okay, because he claims to have studied 1,000 feet, but there was not one picture, okay, in any of his books. So, okay, fine. Cough up those pictures, cough up those photos. Why is it that one dead wild horse's foot became the hoof model for the whole natural hoof care barefoot movement? And so when I saw the interview, just things that were said, like he talks about how the last day, he says, the last day I was in wild horse country, I came up to a cliff and a dark shadow came over me and said to me, "You're done here. Get the hell out. Your life's about to change." Well, hey, I'm just telling you what he says. And then he says to the interviewer, "And you know what I charged when I came back?" Meaning that he came back and he said he wasn't going to shoe anymore, and he tried to figure out a name for this trim. First he called it the wild horse trim, then he called it the natural trim, and that he charged out the yin yang for it. And this is what I have noticed about the barefoot movement. These people that get their online classes and get their schools going and their fancy websites and everything like that, they charge out the yang. And it is one big money making deal. This thing. And so what I see is that so much of it is based on error in anatomy and greed. I mean, greed. You know, I've seen what happens. You know, these people are desperate to help their horses, and they'll call one of these people over, and for just an hour of their time, they blow in and blow out. They're going to charge you $300, $400, $500. See, um,
Good gosh.
oh, it's ridiculous.
And they have
Okay.
like cult like followings. That's
Oh,
what I've noticed. The people
and
that drink the Kool-Aid, that's it.
yep,
They're done. You can't. That's what when you said that Sarah and them went like, well, they drink the Kool-Aid.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is the truth.
Mhm.
And so many people suffering. Okay, so like there's this one gal. She's pretty well known. All right, and this was right when COVID started. She has a hoof group, and she was doing clinics, which they charged like I can't even remember. It was like $800 for 3 days, some ungodly amount. And she goes, "Oh yeah, COVID here. I'm not going to be able to do this. Blah blah blah." And then the next thing I know, she's doing a post, and she says, "Hey, I'll do an online class." Just a second here. She says, "Oh, I know. I'll do an online class. I'll do a webinar." All the people in this group, because see, I don't get on those groups, but this one just happened to come through my timeline. And so all these girls were going, "Oh, well, yeah, how much you gonna charge?" and stuff like that. And one gal really asking, "How much do you think you charge?" You can tell she probably ain't gonna be able to afford very much. And boy, she comes back, I mean, in a split second, $600. Like they don't even sweat it, you know? They have no problem charging out the yang to people and asking these exorbitant prices. See? And that's why I say the founder, you know, when he
Mhm.
says to that interviewer, uh, and you know what I charged, what's that say to me? You know, the whole thing is lots of greed, lots of marketing, advertising. Uh, now, okay, I got as far as I'm concerned, I got the best name. The anatomically correct trim, right? Tack. You gotta use tack. That just worked out. I wasn't looking for a name. All right. I was just looking for an anatomically correct trim. That's all. And so it just became that. But I never was trying to do a business. I never saw a bandwagon that I could jump on. Oh, I'm going to take this and make it look like I thought about it. And that's what you see them all doing. Not all of them. Some of them are real sincere, okay? But there's a lot of them. It just seems like it's about the money to me, you know. Um but that's my personal opinion about it. Um but anyway, okay, so I talked about this a lot because I'm definitely going to write a book, hopefully, Lord willing, on corrective trimming as we're all learning different things here. But I really want to write a book on the history of hoof care, you know, and the part that the so-called natural, unnatural trim has made on this. See, this is their claim to fame. They're always you just sit back and listen. They're always using the word nature. Nature this and nature that. Nature, nature, natural, natural, nature, nature, nature. Yet their understanding in the anatomy is completely in error. And the only reason it is because from the get go, going back 270 years, these errors in anatomy have made this big hole. So barefoot was just able to come right in there and seem to fill up the hole seemed to be the answer, when in reality, it made it worse, because now you have farriers trimming the heels out even more than they were before because of the teachings. So anyway, uh, that is my opinion of that, which I'm not shy to say. So eh,
I
anyway,
really wish I would have documented better pictures and stuff with my mare Sky, because she's one I raised from a weanling, and I just kind of rasped her, teaching her how to pick up her feet and rasp them myself, and not knowing anything back then.
yeah,
And from when I got her in September, and I remember clear as day, it was April 16th. And the reason the date is embedded in my brain is because there was going to be a little show, and she's a registered paint horse, and I
uh-huh,
was showing her APHA stuff and going to get points on her papers and all this. So I wanted to take her to the little first of the season in April 17th. They had the first little saddle club show, a practice show, and I was going to take her to that. And he came, and I let him trim her for the first time.
mm-hmm.
And the next day she was laying down in the
Oh
pasture
man,
and store and stuff, and give anything if I could go back in time and know then what I know now,
yeah,
because
and
that was
take
the first
pictures of
time.
her.
Yeah, and he's looked me square in the eyes, I don't know how many times, and said, "Well, we got to get those frogs on the ground," you know. And then
Yep,
from that point on, here I was able to pony her on the trails and all this kind of stuff. And then from then on, I'm having trouble with her getting sore and trying to get off the rocks and stuff like that. By the time she was 2 years old, I had to put shoes on her, and
geez,
like, and now for what I'm doing now, it's been 3 years and two
yeah,
full years completely barefoot, because I had to kind of go back to shoes a couple times just for her
yeah,
comfort. But to see he has known her since then, and I think that's why he is so open-minded and willing to listen to me, because
uh-huh,
he sees what he did. And now he looked me in the face and said, "Oh yeah, she's a thoroughbred, she's always going to need shoes, she's always yada yada." And now he sees I'm doing this, and it's just
isn't
he
that great?
sees.
Yeah, that's great.
So
So
it's helped.
he would say that to you. We got to get those frogs on the
Oh
ground.
yeah, oh
Oh
yeah,
man, see, that's terrible.
and
That
he said
he's
that about several of my horses. I remember what
yeah,
my older gelding that I let just wander around the yard, and I was kind of pulled his shoes and retired him, and I was kind of just doing my own little rasping and stuff. And I let him trim him one time, and he said, "Oh yeah, we got to get those frogs on the ground." Well, guess what? Then he's crippled the next day, and had to go
yeah,
back on him again.
yeah,
And I finally started learning, and I guess it was around 2019,
hmm,
2020 that I started finding things like your page and the progressive Wayne guy from Australia.
yeah, yeah,
And I started learning that horses need heels, and I was like, it makes no sense. You chop off her heel, and then you're going to put a wedge on her. Why do you
yeah,
keep taking her heels down?
yeah, yeah. Why take the heels off and then put a wedge pad on?
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
like crazy.
Yeah, and it was all back up the heels and back up the toe, and then what you
Yep,
talk about her finding, and that led to her first abscess. Because I
yeah,
spent a whole year of him from 2019 to 2020, a whole year of him doing corrective shoeing with wedge
uh-huh,
pads and backing up her toe and backing up her toe. And in March 2021, she blew her first abscess.
yep,
And then from then on, things just started getting worse and worse. And then by fall 21 was when I first pulled shoes and took over, because I learned enough from you that I was like, okay, he's
wow.
not doing, you know.
Wow, that's just so amazing to hear that, because
Yeah,
I know that's what they're doing. And then to have you describe it and describe what you went through and what you saw and how you have dealt with your farrier,
hmm
and to see how they have been indoctrinated with
yeah.
this
And
idea.
then remember that next summer, because I was on and off, not wanting to completely take over. And then that last
Yeah.
summer, I guess summer 22, I let him trim her, and I had her doing good, had her out of shoes again, had her doing
Hmm.
good, and he trimmed her, and he did that 4-point trim thing.
Oh
And
no.
so then that summer is when I got the fusion boots and so from then on I was like, no. And I even told him, I was like, I was plotting your death. I
Yeah.
was like,
I was
I
prodding
had
your death. That's right. I
and I
remember
teased him
now.
about that. all the time.
I remember now you saying
Yeah.
that somewhere else. I was
Yeah.
plotting your death.
That's
Oh,
right.
that is so funny. Yeah.
And now
Oh
he'll
my
tell
God.
me, he's like, well, I'm not gonna do because I won't let him. He's like, no, I don't want you plotting my death again.
Well, for all he's done, he sounds like he's a pretty good guy.
He is a good guy, and
Yeah.
he puts up with a lot, but he'll tell me, and I'll apologize to him. He's like, no, I like coming here. I learn things. I mean, and he'll let me listen to your videos, and I'll send him things and stuff, and he
That's
sees
awesome.
he's willing to learn, and he's been
That's
shoeing for 20 some odd years.
wow, that's
You
great.
know,
Well, that's a good man there,
yeah,
you know, and stuff because man, they are hard to turn,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
or introduce anything to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I played this video on a group of this guy. Actually, he's the founder of a Whole Foods company. And he's talking about how uh people's identity is so tied up in what they do.
Yeah, I saw that in their beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was really cool,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, well, that's really cool. I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
really
fun.
just wish I would have taken better pictures along the way and everything. And I mean,
Mhm.
I've got a handful of pictures and whatever I have on my phone, but I just wish I would have really documented it. But I mean, he's been there all along. He's been the only farrier I've ever had with
Mhm.
since I've had her, and he sees how she's doing now, and he knows.
Yeah. Well,
He's
it's
amazed too.
it's got to be frustrating for him because it can't be the only horses that
Mm-hmm.
he's seen all this happen to. Look, I trimmed my horse into mechanical laminitis, um,
Mm-hmm.
my pony into mechanical laminitis, horses sore footed, um, you know, and hey, I was teaching it all the time and documenting it on YouTube. But you know what? I never talked about how their feet were sore.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, you remember
because
me saying that he told me back in the day, he told me one time, well, just don't look at her. She's sore, but
yeah,
just don't look at her.
yeah,
Like they're gonna be
yeah,
sore for a while, but just don't
yeah,
look at her. Like it has to happen.
yep,
And I'm like, funny she hasn't been sore in 2 years now that I've been trimming her.
yeah. Isn't that funny? And
Mm-hmm.
and see, I just kept thinking, kept thinking, kept thinking. It's right around the corner. It's right around the next string. It's
Mm-hmm.
right around. I'm gonna get it. Gonna get it. Gonna get it. You know,
Yeah.
this is got to go through this. Got to go through this. This is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and see that nobody's talking about that.
Yeah.
And they're all going through it. And if they say they aren't, they're liars.
Yeah.
See?
It's so frustrating to I have my scoot boot pages because I use the scoot boots when I ride and different things, and
Yeah.
I'll see people on there trying to transition out, and they'll send pictures of their feet wanting to get boots and stuff, and I mean,
Shake
like
your
I
hand.
get,
Yeah.
yeah, because they're doing that barefoot trimming, and they'll all
Yep.
talk, and then everybody's like, oh, they got thrush, what's their diet, yada yada yada. It's all the same, and the same thing in that glue on composite. And do you know, every time, now I did have Sky in those Octo shoes last summer, those same shoes won't even, like, I couldn't even put them up against her feet now. They're
They
too
don't
small.
fit her. Yeah.
They're too
Yeah.
small. And in order for I'll order them. I'll order her the one size number 130, like 130 millimeter size or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and get them. They're too short. They're always too short. And those people, for them shoes to work right, you gotta do that Mustang roll and back those
Yep.
toes all up and do that too. And that's why all those people need those shoes and boots
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But it
Ha.
just drives me crazy just seeing on them pages, and then the advice that they get drives you more nuts
Oh,
than
yeah,
just
that's more nuts. That's more
yeah.
nuts. Um, and what a terrible thing to do to women. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, this is worse than having men, you know, men in sports beating the crap out of
Mm-hmm.
women. All right. Um, this is worse. That you have taught women. Well, I mean, you just think about it. This opened such a door for another career for women to have, to feel like they were something and they're something important. Okay. And then they're taught all these lies. And so
Mm-hmm.
uh we're fixers, and we're horse moms, and we, stuff like that. And so then to be taught things that are actually doing the very opposite of what we would desire. And so you have multiple professional trimmers out there, and you can guarantee if they've been doing it long enough, they have trimmed horses into mechanical laminitis,
Mhm.
um, and got paid for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but
See,
that nothing. There's no worse feeling than
yeah,
writing a check out for $500 and then wake up the next day and they're all crippled.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And you know how I was telling you how with the heads, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The heads, you really see the greed, um like ABC Hoof Care. I don't name names. Cheryl
Yeah.
Henderson, and I was
I
on her group
too.
in 2011. So she had a gal she trained who had gone to this stable and done like 7, 8 horses, crippled every one of them. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're talking about this on the group, and in fact, the lady called her because one of the horses colicked because it didn't want to walk to water.
Mm-hmm.
And so the one thing Cheryl said was, well, don't give them a refund. And I
Oh,
was like, what in the
well.
heck? You
Mm,
know? Uh, so see the
yeah.
greed. It bothers me very much. That doesn't mean that every basic trimmer and stuff, they're not that way. I'm talking about these people that want to do, they want to have the hoof school. They want to
Mm-hmm.
have, all this stuff, and get as many people as they can to come take their classes and, buy their books and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And this guy gets yeah. Um, yeah, it's nasty. So, but to get all these women, and it's really bad when you convince a woman she's right when she's wrong. Okay. So you have all these women now wholly convinced that they know
Mm-hmm.
what they're talking about. And I can't stand it because I understand it too, because I did it. Okay. I've got it documented on YouTube, and I go watch those videos and I'm sickened. I'm
Yeah.
sickened by how much I really thought I was doing the right thing, and I really thought I knew what I was talking about, and I didn't, you know, because I was just sharing what they have told us. I had no reason to doubt them. They have big fancy websites and organizations and associations and everything like that. I had no idea that farriery was all screwed up, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or well, I mean, the barefooters will let you know that sooner or later how screwed up the farriers are. Okay. And now what they're finding is these farriers are having to come back where the barefooters fail. And so people are just getting screwed
Well,
left and
and
right.
one observation I've made and something I've learned is you find a farrier that learned from his dad, that learned from his grandpa,
Mm,
that learned, or an
yep.
somebody like that just learned how to do it. They know how to do it and keep the horses sound to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe shoes cause their feet to get a little contracted or whatever, but they have
Yeah.
heels and they have good feet. And then
Yeah.
find a certified, well educated, da 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 farrier,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that learned by the book, and they're the ones that have been infiltrated with that frogs on the ground and
Yeah.
all that crap.
Yep.
They're
Boy,
the ones that
that's the
destroy your
truth.
feet. And
Yeah.
that's what mine was. He gave me his book one time, and it had those exact pictures that you share with the anatomy being all screwed up. And his whole big, huge, heavy book, $300 book.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And that was way back, when I first started, doing a little bit of stuff and wanting to
Yeah.
learn. Yeah.
Wow.
And
See,
so they
that's,
learn by the book. They're going to learn it that way. They're going to be
yeah.
taught.
Yeah. And then, so, who thinks that these books are going to lie to you? Because the
Mm-hmm.
people that write them don't know it's a lie.
Yeah, and they paid
Because,
thousands of dollars to go to school and learn all
yep,
that.
yep, yep. So, you know, boy, it's a mess,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But hey, Ignaz Schimmelweis dived in a mental institution, but he did get the doctors in the next generation to wash their hands. you know, well, I just love you. I just think you're just a neatest lady. I'll tell you what. And just this what you're saying here, man. I mean, it's a
Well,
confirm. I know it's
I
true.
sure appreciate you opened my eyes and taught me so much, and I never would, because like I said, all the others they want money first, and I'm like, I'm
Oh,
not
that's
going to
for
shell
sure.
out money and know what you're teaching me, and then like you said, I they don't show the horses moving and being ridden and all that kind of stuff.
Nope, they sure never
No.
do. Nope. Yeah, it's all a farce. You know, this is all a farce. And but I got plans. I got plans, and if I stay alive long enough, um, I want to make sure that somehow, some way, going to write a book that's going to really spell it out. And of course, you guys are all part of that. See, you've got testimonies. See, and
Mhm.
that's what I need to do. I need to start gathering up testimonies. You know, I'd like some people to either do written or video testimonies on this very thing. And see, I did have a forum where I collected 500 testimonies, and then something happened and I didn't pay for it because I had a credit card, that had to tear up or some darn thing. And then I wasn't paying attention, and they were writing me messages, "Hey, you better pay for this. We're going to delete you." And yep, they deleted me and deleted all those testimonies. And it wasn't that the testimony was necessarily was I was teaching was helping everybody. It was the testimony, which it was, even before I did the heal thing, I was still doing some things different. Was kind of helping. It was people's testimonies of the horror stories they've experienced with the farriers and the barefoot trimmers. See, and and then a lot of barefoot trimmers too, you know, have come around and seen and changed because they knew what's going on. You can't do this and not know that you're screwing up other people's horses. And
Mhm.
see, for me, for a while, I did trim other people's horses, and uh, and I got one guy I still trim for. I had five of his horses in two different locations, two in one and three in another, that I've been trimming now since, gosh, 2007. He's got one left. I'm trimming. The rest died, you know. And so I got this big old Morgan Prince. He's so cool. I drive out there. That horse runs up to the fence. You
Oh,
see how great they are. You know, he sees me coming. He would be way out there in the pasture. He makes a beeline. Of course, I always got a little treat for him or something too. They live by their gut. You know, food is so. See, here's another thing that's so terrible. Um, so they're trimming these horses into mechanical laminitis, and yeah, and then because of the stress, they get metabolic things going on and stuff like that. And then you starve them to death. You take every joy away from them in life. You hurt
yeah.
their feet, and then you soak their hay, and they can't have nothing, and they got to take awful drugs. It's terrible. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
lost one of my best horses because of that.
Did
And
you
I'm
really?
fenced. Yeah, my big gated mare that I had in
Mhm.
2021 fall, she foundered, and she's one of the ones that he was shoeing, and that was like right when I really started in that fall of 2021.
Mhm.
She foundered, and I started taking the shoes off the sky and taking over, and realizing what was going on with their feet and
Oh,
stuff. and
wow.
and
Yeah.
it's like I had noticed over the years that I was using him that I'm like, why do they look so long in the toe? Why do they look so, and I it didn't realize what he was doing. He was whacking off
Mhm.
their heels, and then their toes were getting longer and longer and longer,
Yeah.
and then that mare started having more stifle issues, her back feet,
Yep.
and then she got that weird big toe crinna thing and weird thing.
Yep.
I mean, weird
Yep.
things were happening. And then she started getting the big cresty neck and the
Yep.
things like that. And next thing you know, she foundered, and I lost her, and I lost a gelding to
Yep.
DSLD, with the back feet, and and it's like I see
Yeah.
what happened to all my horses, and that's
Yeah.
when I stepped up and it was like, I'm not losing another damn horse.
Yeah. It was
Facing this
the
crap.
trim. It was the way he trimmed the horses.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. I mean, everything you're saying there is things that I have seen, you know, and stuff. So if you ever get a chance, if you would write down or even do a video testimony.
I really do. I especially Sadie, the one that foundered, because in my Facebook memories, I post a lot of pictures and stuff when I go on these things and all that. And now
Yeah.
when my memories pop up, the first thing I do is zoom in and look at their feet, and like, oh my god, I can't believe I rode her with her feet like that, and look at that,
Yeah.
and I see it now, and I didn't know it then.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I do, because when you shared something one time about the whole how the stress can cause them to then get the, and I'm like, okay, so she probably did end up with laminitis because of, and that's probably what, because things started going down. I mean, this was a horse I couldn't feed enough and keep weight off of.
Yeah.
Or keep weight on when I first got
when you
stuff,
first
and then
got her.
yeah, and then he was shoeing for me. I forget what year I started using him. Probably around 2015. Yeah, right when I got Sky, I think I had just started using him. So from 2015, and then by 2019, 2021, I started losing horses.
Jeez.
So
Where did he go to school? Do you know?
I don't know. We're in Kentucky, so I don't know if he went to the Kentucky school or.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, they pretty much all teach the same type of stuff. They've inherited this error. You know, that I showed a farrier picture one time of a foot I was restoring. And to do this, I had to really take the frog down so the back of the foot would release. And all he could say, you could see that the cartilages had just boom expanded. All he could say was, that looks like a frog searching for the ground.
Lord.
That's a frog searching for the ground. You know?
Oh, mine, he used to brag about, well, he's never seen frogs like what Sky had. And the whole back of her foot was one big flat triangle. And he thought he had the best foot of any horse he had.
Yeah.
He would brag about what a big, beautiful, good frog she had.
Yep. Yeah, and it was distorted, deformed frog. You know?
Around in a big flat frog.
Yep. Yeah, see, so they've been taught to see, well, like me, I saw that one dead wild horse's foot. That's what I saw. And let's just see. I'll show you. Have you seen that picture? Did I show you that picture?
Of what?
Well, of the notebook that I had?
Yes.
Yeah. So I had a notebook where I took a picture when I first started doing this back in, I started in 2005, and in 2007, I put a notebook together, and I put that picture on the front of that one dead wild horse's foot, and it says perfection. I'm going to show it to you anyway. And then we're probably going to head out. Just a minute here. Where am I? Now I got a picture of my notebook somewhere, but I don't know where to look for it. So I'm just gonna show this one in my wild horse pictures. Just a second here. Where are you? Let's see.
Linda?
Yeah.
While you're looking for that picture, is it okay if I comment?
Sure.
So my problem was bouncing from the natural hoof care to traditional farriers. And once I had that plane of no heel, it was the same plane that the farrier would follow and continue to take the heel off. It wasn't, and then I would say, hey, is there any way we can, grow some heel there? He said, well, you got to take off, you got to back it up to grow heel. It's like, so it was perpetuated.
Yeah.
It was ugly on uglier.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
Or,
I totally can relate to that.
sorry, I'm late to the party. I've been late to the party for the last couple of weeks, but I'm still here.
Let's see. Well, hey, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry you
Thank
had
you.
to be late too. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so there's the wonderful foot here that we're supposed to put on all our horses. Now this was from a very old trimming group that's been around for a while called Tribe Equus. I didn't can't tell that on here. I never knew where it came from. But on my in my notebook, it's got the web page down at the bottom. See? So yeah, this foot here, one dead wild horse and worst foot out. Right there. And so they say that's what they want you to put on all these horses. So, if we were to go to just a minute here. Let me stop here and go here. Come on. New share. Okay, so let's see if I got that. Okay. So just here. What I was talking about earlier, how these horses, come on. So here's an inner foot. How are you going to fit that foot in that capsule? And this is a front foot. This is not a rear foot. And this is a front foot here. And this here is a rear foot off that one dead wild mare that wore her heels out. So they are trying to get us to make this foot into that foot. So this horse, no way does this horse's foot fit in that capsule. And so, they come up here and cut the heel off. Like a foot like this, they would say it was a club foot. And so, let me do, oops, wait a minute. Do an annotate here. So they come up here. Here's a bulb. And probably right here. And of course, that's going to drop the foot down. But what's it going to do these horn tubules? It's going to set them at an angle going more forward. And so right away, they're pushing forward and pushing the toe forward. Here. Well, okay, whatever. So that means that if this horse's foot was, oh, wait a minute. It's like that. And you come up here and you just go that way. What happens to the back of this foot? Now, I want you to think about this foot. This is all cartilage. All of this is cartilage. Okay, now the bone is right in here. All of this is cartilage. The whole back of this foot is cartilage. And then inside is fat, compressed, thick fat of the digital cushion. So if you take the heels down to here, you pull this cartilage down to the ground because it was designed. Let me undo this here. It was designed to set just like this here. This bulb was not meant to be here. Not at all. And so I cut the heels down. First of all, since this is cartilage right in here, it's going to crush the heel up forward and up. That's why you can keep trimming the heel down and keep trimming the heel down. And you could force this foot to be like that. And if it happens slow enough and gradually enough, the periopple will hold the whole foot together. And you're in a dry climate, then you could actually force this foot eventually to look like that. But that's not even what this horse originally had. So then you take this foot and you are forcing it, pulling it down to the ground. It's like smashing your nose down on your face. Your nose ain't going to function right. Even more so the horse's foot. And so you have forced it down to the ground. If it's dry, it'll kind of be forced to stay there. But if you live in a wetter climate, it will stretch back up anyway. And that's when it'll take that wall here and it'll curl it around behind itself to make its own heel. So, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, about how just thinking about this foot and about how when you lower the heels, how much you are forcing the back of this foot down, because it has to have this heel here. It has to have that heel to support and maintain the shape of this foot, because it is so soft cartilage and fat, it only functions correctly if it has the right configuration of heel and frog supporting the back of the foot up where it's supposed to be. And so people see these high hairlines, a high hairline, and sometimes you'll see them even higher than that. They'll be clear up here. This right here would be up here. They see these high hairlines, they think they have club feet. I've been noticing this. They haven't got club feet. This is a real foot. This is the real foot. See? Like right here. Now, of course, you wear your toe off a little. There you go. See? Okay, well, anyway, folks, I guess is there anything anybody wants to say?
Linda, I did send you pictures, but we can look at those next week.
Okay. Okay, that'd be good. That way I can go outside and feed before it gets dark.
Already dark here, but yeah, so we'll do that next week. And I probably should send you pictures. I had my my big gelding, I had his shoes pulled this last time, so he looks pretty pitiful.
Oh, really?
But I'm not sure whether I can take on trimming him and the pony both, but I may have to. But I'll send those.
Okay.
We can look at those as well.
And we can talk on Messenger too.
Yeah.
Since you sent me some pictures and stuff.
Yeah. Well, chance is ongoing. So I just trimmed his hind feet and put the notches in those from the flares that he had.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, great, Kathy.
Okay. Thanks, Linda.
You're welcome. Well, everybody, have a good week. Happy trimming.
Okay, I'll try to take good pictures tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds good. You're all great. Hi, Dodie. Hi, Missy. I hadn't talked to you too. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi,
Hi.
I just got here.
I seen that. Okay, guys. Well, you have a great week. And
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you, you
Linda.
too.
It was good.
hey, yeah, good to talk to y'all.
Thank
and
you.
stuff.
I'm
Everybody
gonna
take,
have to watch the recording and see what I missed.
hey, yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.